every time they cut open to us, we do the introductions like, hi, welcome to Fire and Dice 1K. My name is Leo Morris, and I'm with my co-host,
Kevin Long.
and we're here to bring you some entertainment, competing with the Pro Tour, of course. So if you're watching our channel, we really appreciate it.
Oh, dude, he's running a main deck Caracas. Interesting. 3 warping 1.
Is this you?
You know, it might as well be. But I don't own that shirt, nor that jacket. I've also never been here before.
Straight up?
Yeah. I mean, Chris like tried when he first started. He was like, "Oh my God, look at this really close L2 that I have to me," and I was just like, "Nope, nope."
So fucked up. Oops. What do these come with? The fat packs?
I think so.
Strictly
Those
boobles?
old these used to be, or the old ones are worth something. The older ones.
I won 3 packs.
Do you get a thing?
And
in the
Jesse,
ice?
I always make Jesse crack my packs because, like, actually there was one time when she was home, I'm like, hey, did you bring your friend with you? And she was just like, what? I'd be like, her first name's Lady. And I need a little bit of luck.
Lol.
And she's just like, why would I? I trolled her for a while.
Dude, apparently Mark has a really good problem with this set, and that he can't stop opening Avacons.
Really?
Apparently he's opened like 6 Avacons so far. Just totally
$50
ridiculous.
card that's like not even close to Jace power level, but just Baneslayer of the format.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Baneslayer of the format. Don't you?
I mean, Thragtusk, whatever. Shit happens. Wizards makes mistakes.
No, Thragtusk was like at least.
I mean, it was
It was
$20 at its peak. $20, $25, right?
It's fine. Avacyn's 50, 60 or
I mean, yeah, but it's mythic. And Thragtusk was not mythic.
good job, Wizards.
Yeah. It is funny, I was considering playing that in Angel Stompy. You know.
Yeah. It's just like Highlander, except for like 4 swords and swords. Written storms. Okay.
And Snapcaster Mages.
4 of. Okay. Oh, let's see if I have Twitter on here.
I think the last time that I used Twitter was for the Judge Twitter, and then I deleted it directly afterwards.
You text me starting soon?
Well, we were starting soon.
It's like 2 doors over.
Whatever. I'm gonna go outside.
Where do I find Twitter? And technical difficulties. Let's see if I have time to install Twitter. Yes. Log in.
Oh, that's cute.
You guys can see anything.
Nope.
Not right now.
Fair enough.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, there we go. All right. Are we live, Chris?
There you go.
Cool.
Are we good to comment?
Yeah, you guys are good?
All right. Are we live?
Yep.
Sweet. on the Twitters. All right. If you're just joining us, we just started with a. Oh, okay, let me try that again. Hi, and welcome to Fire and Dice's 1K. My name is Leo Maros, and I'm with
Kevin Long.
And we're here in round 1, Stoneblade versus Eldrazi.
So this is a bit of an interesting matchup where the Eldrazi deck tries to get out a lot of resources very quickly. You see Warren having to spend 3 mana on that Swords to Plowshares because of the couple of Thorns that Brent has out. But Eldrazi tries to get out quick and lock him up and choke you out of mana and resources,
while at the same time playing big, heavy, dumb dudes that are incredibly annoying and sticky to get rid of. However, those Thorns are really acting like they're supposed to, preventing him from using a lot of his spells at the same time.
Ooh, big guy. Big 7 on that, I think. On that endless one that is also uncounterable because of the Cavern of Souls.
Right. If you notice his mana base, the 2 lands on his left are what are colloquially referred to as soul lands, as they tap for 2, based off a card called Soul Ring. When casting Eldrazi spells, they can tap for 2, otherwise they tap for 1. They're Eldrazi temples. So you take 2 for the Simian Spirit Guide being mana number 5, Wasteland 6, and Cavern of Souls making it uncounterable. Even though it makes a colored mana, it doesn't. Cavern of Souls will always produce a colored mana, something to note.
Yeah.
But you can use a colored mana to cast Eldrazi spells and therefore make them counterable. And because its converted mana cost is over 7, we got. Oh, sorry, it's just Thorns, not.
Yeah, Thorn is non-creature anyway.
Non-creature.
So.
Yes. You pay 3 for that?
No, he played it's a Creeping Tar Pit at the bottom of that. So Creeping Tar Pit is a man land that comes into play tapped, which is not the optimal at this point. I think Warren's in a bit of trouble. Probably has to throw this Stoneforge Mystic in front of the big ol' 7/7.
Yep. That 7/7 definitely has a big ass.
It's true.
I'll give
it's
you that
quite
much.
large.
Also, as players thought not seer, a staple for the Eldrazi deck, coming into play, ripping out that Batter Skull more than likely out of Esper Stoneblade's hands. Warren now feeling the Eldrazi squeeze.
Yeah, and it is quite the squeeze. So taking 2, going to 2, Warren's gotta rip pretty well to get out of this. And he will not do so, and on to game 2.
Nope. While Thorn is a very important card for this Legacy tournament, in affecting a lot of decks, it wasn't really that big of a thorn in his side. He had plenty of mana to cast all his spells.
He did indeed.
And ultimately speaking, it was, really wasn't overly effective in the match that we saw. I don't know how effective it was in the earlier parts, but we could definitely see,
So we have
Brent.
Yeah.
Definitely see Brent maybe boarding 1 out. Against Esper Stoneblade, there's not they play a significant amount of spells, but it's not like it's going to put the choke on a spell-based deck.
Yeah, and it does look like Esper Stoneblade doesn't actually have all that much to board in. Mainly an Elspeth and a couple of Meddling Mages, maybe even a Thoughtseize.
We may see a Zealous Persecution come in just to deal with the 1/1.
The Mimic and the Phyrexian Revoker too.
That's
yeah.
Right. Well, looks like our players know exactly what they're doing as far as boarding goes.
Yeah, very, very quick and concise.
The Eldrazi deck's boarding is very it reminds me a lot of just a game plan that knows what it wants to do. A lot of the sideboard options are 2-ofs and 4-ofs, 4 Leyline of the Void.
Yeah, it's a must when you're running Leyline.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know. Have you ever seen anybody drop a rogue 1-of Leyline on the board?
Not often. I have seen 1-of Leyline of Sanctity, but no 1-of Leyline of the Void.
Yeah, kind of. Leyline of the Void is one of those cheat me into play cards that happens at the start of the turn. Very important for Legacy. Honestly, I'm not sure what they were thinking when they decided to create Leylines.
Well, most of them are only okay, and the Black Leyline and the new White Leyline were the only ones that really made a strong impact.
The Black Leylines saw some play, but not too much. Do you see Black or Red Leyline play?
Red Leyline?
Yeah.
No. Only Leyline of the Void and Leyline of Sanctity see play in
No, I'm not talking Legacy. I'm talking about other formats. Like I've seen play in general.
In Vintage, it was a big player, Leyline of the Void, because Dredge is such an oppressive force there. And in fact, when it first came out, Dredge played it as a 4-of in the main deck against other Dredge decks. So a card with a lot of variance there. Have to have it in your opening hand
Yes.
to be effective.
With all other, for anybody who's not familiar with ley lines, when they originally, if they start in your opening hand, before the game even starts, you can just put them right into play before your opponent makes their first move. It just straight up starts in play. It's one of all the ley lines are cards that do this, and one other land called Gemstone Cavern. Otherwise, there's nothing else that kind of like starts in the game except for commander purposes stuff. But
yeah. And Leyline of the Void is one of the effects that is particularly backbreaking against graveyard-reliant decks, as they just don't have one to work with anymore.
Yeah, we won't see those coming in against the Esper Stoneblade, but we'll see them probably later on in the course of the day.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see some nice combo on Eldrazi matchups or something like that.
So what does Esper Stoneblade have to do here? How do they beat Eldrazi?
So Esper Stoneblade has to deal hopefully deal with the Chalice effects and the Thorn effects. So there's a card called Chalice of the Void, which restricts casting spells of a certain cost. And Chalice on 1 is very effective traditionally against blue decks. It cuts off Brainstorms, it cuts off Swords to Plowshares. Very effective, very useful cards in this matchup. And we see here, hopefully, he's just going to... Mimic.
Starting off with a Mimic.
Not bad. So Mimic is one of the cards that leads to more explosive draws from Eldrazi. It's the same as in the modern version, where you land a turn 2 or 3 Reality Smasher and smash their reality. Turn 2 Thought-Knots here is quite strong here. Going to get the Force of Will right away from Warren. No thought on that one. Pitching Jace, which is not a great card in this matchup, but it still is a win condition, still digs for answers.
Yeah, Warren was pretty forced to make that play, right? Like if he doesn't force the Thought-Knots here, then he loses a card. Mimic smashes for 4, and he's just way behind. This is exactly what Eldrazi wants to be doing. It wants to play soul lands as fast as possible, and it wants to drop dudes that really make your life harder to answer.
Yeah, and Thought-Knots here is especially one of those dudes because it is also disruptive. And here we see it being disruptive by taking 2 cards instead of just 1 out of Warren's hand, but unfortunately, given that, it does not hit the field.
That's all right.
And here we see a bit of an interesting thing where Warren was forced to crack a fetch land before brainstorming, which was unfortunate. There's a lot of value in cracking fetch lands after brainstorming to shuffle away cards that you do not want, but it was unfortunate for him. Fortunately, he drew another fetch land.
Sometimes you just roll the dice and you just get the fetch off the top.
Yeah.
Now, okay, what Brett is doing here is he's got to float mana before playing another land, or else he won't get credit for that land.
So that land is City of Traders, and whenever he plays any other land, that land has to be sacrificed. So he has to make mana before even playing another land.
Now, it is important to note that City of Traders only goes to the yard if you use the special action to play another land.
Yes.
If other lands come into play through effects, then City of Traders is your best friend.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, so Thought-Knots here, Reality Smashers coming in, trying to smash some realities.
We're going to see if Warren wants to swords either one beforehand. He has to remember if he does swords that Reality Smasher, he will have to discard a card to be able to target it.
Reality Smasher being something that really, really comes in with one purpose in mind.
Yeah, one purpose and one purpose only, and that's hitting face.
Generally speaking.
And he's going to hit the Mimic. Interesting. It's probably with the trigger on the stack, so Brent's hopefully only going to gain 2 off this. But still swinging in for 5.
Smashing realities every day. So, let's see. He's got his 4 lands. Jace, $100 Jace. bouncing the Smasher.
Yeah,
Now
so
this is a great tempo play because Brett does not have the mana to recast the Smasher currently.
yeah, at least not on board.
So Warren he's doing a little bit of praying here, as you can see.
Yep.
He's like, oh man, please no land, no land. Hey, we've all been there. There
Yeah.
have been many situations where we're just like, please don't get a land. Oh,
And
we
very
see.
key, he does not have a soul land, so he cannot play this Reality Smasher unless he has something like a Simian Spirit Guide in hand. But instead, it's just going to be the Trinisphere.
Trinisphere paying 4 mana for?
Yeah, but
This is strange to me.
I agree. Could have left open Caracas or Urborg.
Fun fact, if you float mana, you must announce it to your opponent.
Yes, that is true.
I don't
but
know if that
if
happened.
you just say pass, nothing wrong with that either.
Because a lot of the times people will pay 4 mana just to bait out or pay an extra mana to potentially bait out a daze or something from your opponent, and you're just like, pay the 1. It's really frowned upon. So
Here we have the 5 mana for that Reality Smasher.
coming back strong.
Probably gonna, straight at the Jace. Maybe going to see some sort of...
He's got a Snapcaster Plows and...
but he can't cast both the Snapcaster and the Plow in the same turn because of that Trinisphere. So he probably will just, plow it, discard a Spell Snare.
Oh. Esper Stoneblade is finally gearing its bearings here.
Yeah, it's seemed to stabilize. Brent has a few cards in hand, so we'll see what he has in store.
Fetching basics because he has Wasteland on the opposite
Yeah,
side.
showing Wasteland.
Warren playing very tight here. Very tight.
But it is to be of note that all of his lands are dual lands except for the swamp because of that Urborg. So Urborg helping Warren out probably a little bit more than Brent in this game.
Brainstorming with Jace. Typically speaking, when Jace sticks on the table for 3 turns, you're in good position.
Yeah. You have either drawn 2 cards and bounced something, as in this case, or drawn even 3 cards. Jace is just a force that takes over the game.
Another fetch from Warren. He's been really chaining those fetches properly with his brainstorms.
Yeah, he's been making a lot of land drops, which is very important for the Stoneblade deck to get ahead. He's going to be finding a Batterskull here to try and stabilize and gain a bunch of life.
One of the best parts about Batterskull is it beats Trinisphere every possible way.
Yeah.
Cost 5, and Stoneforge can sneak it in without having to pay the iron price.
Yeah, quite useful, that Stoneforge Mystic.
We see Ivugan from Brett. Notably, Ivugan taps for an extra black, and we get the biggest...
So that's 9, I believe, on that. Wow, 9, endless one.
Well, unfortunately...
Probably just going to get bounced.
It's not that endless today.
Oh, interesting. Drawing
Another
cards.
brainstorm from
And this is interesting, probably because he drew the Lingering Souls as a source of steady blockers for the endless one.
Well, sort of. He put them back on top. Or no, he's got it in hand. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What did he put back on top? Let's see. See if we can see. He's digging. He did board in the Elspeth. We did say that he was going to do that. I didn't see any meddling mages. Did you?
Yes, he a couple of turns ago brainstormed one and put it back.
Okay. So yes, he did bring in the meddling mages. He did bring in the Elspeth.
He has one in hand, in fact.
Here comes the souls that linger.
Yep.
And in
this should be locking up the game, as he will be able to sneak in that Batterskull at the end of Brent's turn and start going to town, maybe even with some flyers, maybe even a 5/5 Vigilance Lifelink flyer.
I was about to note, Lingering Souls does not in fact make germs.
Yeah, it would be
it
pretty
makes-
useless if it did.
Yeah, making 1/1 or 0/0 germs. I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how good that would be.
It would be bad. In fact, quite bad. Free Eldrazi Mimic still actually costs 1 because of the Trinisphere. Actually,
That's
it costs
right.
3.
Hold on. We should send a judge.
Yeah, because that still costs 3 regardless.
But, yeah, so something that just made a big mistake that just happened. Eldrazi Mimic, while reduction of costs, brings it down to a 0. Trinisphere says you must pay 3 anyways.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like he... Oh, well, okay. So this sometimes happens, unfortunately, where the players don't fully understand the rules of Trinisphere, and Trinisphere ends up not being played correctly.
Yeah. Fortunately, he could have tapped differently in both those cases and made it legal. If he had tapped the Caracas Eye and Wasteland, it would have been 3 for his Eldrazi Mimic, and then he would have had 2 in the black for the Dismember. Right. So, it is not completely irreparable.
No, but at the same time, it was completely incorrect.
Yes.
Although, I believe Warren is completely dominating at this point, and he doesn't need much help.
Yeah.
From the rules to... but it's incredibly important keeping
keeping the rules as rules.
Yeah, or else the validity of all sanctioned matches don't matter.
Yeah.
All right, we see a Sneak and Teak Warren piece, which is going to be equipped to...
The Meddling Mage. I would be curious to know what Meddling Mage is naming.
I'm going to guess Meddling Mage is no blocks.
Yeah, so he should have blocked there, because he would have denied the draw card off of the Sword of Fire and Ice. But because he didn't block, Warren not only got to draw a card, but also got to shoot the Eldrazi Mimic 4-2. And that will be all she wrote for Game 2, and we're going into Game 3 here. I wonder if either of these players were board differently coming into this game.
Let's see. Okay. As far as Esper Stoneblade playing first, that game was super helpful.
Yeah, being able to play a land and get down underneath the sphere effects or the Thorn of Amethysts is very important. And being able to hold open something like turn 1 Spell Snare is very important, again, against Chalice of the Void.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, we are here at Fire and Dice's Legacy 1K event in Round 1. Esper Stoneblade versus...
Eldrazi, and it's just an Eldrazi stompy deck. Wants to stomp everything, get in the face.
I've actually tried brewing Eldrazi for Legacy, but not the traditional stompy wompy deck, but I want to go big. I want to cast bigger Eldrazi's.
Yeah, well, speaking of big cards, Brent's got one Endbringer. I think you'd like a little bit more in that list, but...
Endbringer, I happen to have one here. Let's take it out of the folder and show you guys what we're talking about. Because Endbringer is definitely...
It is a card that ends games.
There you go.
Boy, howdy.
He was a promotional item, so many of you are knowing him. January 26th. This is how he looks like. Less fully in the regular version.
And neither of these players did sideboard, so they're just sticking with it.
Nope,
sticking
we're just
with
jamming.
the plan.
All right. I do want to make note that the Trinisphere situation last game was not repeated, so I'm going to go talk to the judge about that.
Yeah. So here we have a Eldrazi on play and a turn 1 Thorn of Amethyst. So that's going to try and put the brakes on anything that Warren does. It's going to make all of his spells cost more. Hopefully be a little bit harder to follow through with his main plan. And here I think we have the judge talking to them about that Trinisphere play last game. You can tell by that shadow. So he'll just be explaining that what happened, what went wrong, and how to correct it in the future and stuff like that. Just basically that everything costs 3 under Trinisphere. Even if you think it doesn't cost 3, it still costs 3. So it is currently Brent's turn. Let's see if he has a strong backbreaking play. He does have access to 4 mana this turn, so a Thought-Knot's here would be pretty backbreaking, but instead we're just going to see an endless 1 for 4. Still very good. Turn 2, 4/4. Quite excellent.
All right. And we're back. Round 3. Really explosive start from the Eldrazi player, but that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah. Those soul lands really help power out all of the expensive spells in his deck quite quickly. Here we can see the same City of Traders trick, where he's going to make 2 mana and then make some more mana.
I think Warren's reality is about to be smashed.
Yeah, it seems that way. Wow, this is 9 damage. 9 damage on turn 2. Swinging for it.
So what this deck does, it stomps and pomps.
Yeah, so we're going to see the Swords to Plowshares from Warren. I'm going to be curious as to whether he hits the 4/4 Endless one or the 5/5 Reality Smasher, but given that you have to discard another card for that Reality Smasher.
Let's see. He's gonna...
He might discard this Lingering Souls, though. Yeah, and that's what he does.
That is how you beat Endless One.
Yeah.
Discard for value, taking 4 instead of 9. 4 is much better than 9.
Yes.
Also, Warren needs to make sure he keeps his life total up on the up. Otherwise, the Stompy deck can just come out of nowhere and smash him. And...
that is another card that deals with Endless One.
The ultimate blocker has arrived.
Mm-hmm. So that is True Name Nemesis. It is a 3/1 with protection from Brent.
Everything.
Everything that Brent has, it has protection from. So
Brent strip mines and rolls out another Endless One.
So it is still a 4/4 too. The Wasteland on that sea is going to put him back a while because he does not have another black source. So that Lingering Souls in the graveyard is going to get real hard to cast. But there's another fetch land, and he'll be right fine.
That Wasteland almost cost Warren the game.
Almost.
But
Wasteland, very oppressive if you get it early and on your only
That's right.
color source.
If you're thinking about playing Legacy anytime soon, scoop up the Wastelands and Eternal Masters because they're 100% being reprinted.
Oh yeah.
And they are worth every cent that you put into them if in fact you are looking to... Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
They
with the
can't...
Thorn.
They
Nope,
can't
that's right.
Oh, it's right. It's
Yeah.
flashback for 2 and then Thorn extra 1, so it's a total of 3. That was great. Having to pitch Lingering Souls is the only way he could cast it at this stage of the
Yep.
game.
That's true. Couldn't cast the one from his hand, so
The souls that linger.
very sneaky, very
man.
sneaky out of this.
Warren's not out of the woods
Stoneblade
yet,
deck.
though. He's got... Okay, let's see. He's got another Lingering Souls in hand, which is uncastable currently.
And
probably,
will remain so for another 2 turns at least.
Yes. Brett is doing what the Eldrazi deck does, which is coming out to stomp somebody's day.
Ooh, and there's a Chalice on
for
1, which should
1.
cost 1 more.
Come on, tap another land. Brett, you got it.
There
you
we go.
The Thorn happened, smashing for 4.
So that Chalice is going to put a lot of pressure on Warren. He's going to double block the Endless One to kill it.
Yeah, Brett, while putting the pressure on right here, Warren has the ultimate wall, and he just drew another land off the top. So he's finding answers to what he really needs.
Yes, he is.
I have no idea what Brett does to deal with the True Name.
I actually don't think he has answers at all.
He has 2 Ratchet Bombs on the board. If he brought those in, maybe.
Yeah. But for now, I think True Name Nemesis is just the best wall that anybody's ever seen.
Yes. I think Brett needs to draw Jit or something to that effect because he's just going to be running dudes
into this True Name Nemesis. That's right. He needs to go over the top or over the top with Jitte.
I mean, Jit always wins all creature battles. If there's a creature deck to win, and you want the best kind of... If you're a creature-based deck, and your opponent's creature-based deck, you want to have a Jit.
Yeah. The eternal aggro mirror breaker. And here's that Thought Knot Seer. Seeing 2 Lingering Souls and a Council's Judgment. Council's Judgment is an interesting card because it is the only card that can deal with True Name Nemesis as a spot removal spell.
It's true.
Interestingly.
He left him with 2 Lingering Souls, which are currently uncastable.
Yeah.
And he top decks a Brainstorm.
Well, he's going to Brainstorm, see what...
Countered with Chalice.
Yep.
Warren tried to
Brainstorm for
sneak
you.
that one through, but Brett said, nope, I gotcha. Now, how many times have you snuck stuff through Chalice?
Oh, often. Quite often.
Oh, there's the Jit. There's the Jit. This is looking very bad for Warren.
Yeah, it's looking very bad. He does, however, Stonewall attacks for another turn, as whatever Brent would attack with, Warren would only take 4 of it, and then eat one of the other guys. And this 4th land is very important, as the Lingering Souls are now live cards in Warren's hand. and he'll try and stall up the board for longer.
It's not going to last too long with that Jitty equipped. He's going to get to optimally trade all of his guys, however. But okay, so Brent is going to equip the Endless One. He does not want Thought-Knot Seer to die.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
also, there is a race here. Brett, while being the
Ahead.
aggressor right now, he's only his Ancient Tomb has knocked him down to 11.
Yeah, no, it's a real threat of your own Ancient Tomb killing you in this game, or at least getting you low enough to get Alpha Struck back.
Greatness at any cost, Kevin.
And that's the theory of this deck, man. They really try and go
Whoa!
hammer time,
I don't
swinging
know.
with both.
I'm not sure about this attack. He's
Yeah.
clearly going to double block the Thought-Knot Seer, and that gives Warren a huge advantage to come back from this.
Yeah,
Jide has counters, but he didn't have to sacrifice his Thought-Knot Seer to put them on it.
yeah. Maybe the thinking here was that either way he's going to lose a creature, so he might as well get damage in while he's doing it. Try and win the race that way. But as well, I'm not convinced that it was the right play at the time. But we'll see how it works out.
I mean, also, him having to pay 2 life to re-equip if he doesn't hit another land source is a factor that maybe he was considering, but it was I don't know. I don't think it was that clear of that fast of a decision. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like he came to that conclusion quite quickly. Now, Endless One can be pumped up to
An
huge,
8/8.
huge. Warren, what he's going to try to do is block the Endless One
He has to chump block it a bunch.
Yes, Warren has currently 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, he just kills off the Meddling Mage because apparently it was naming something he's trying to play right now. Ah, Reality Smasher. Okay. Takes 2 more, drops them down to 7. Now, Brett should be... okay, guess not. Brett is just jamming.
Yep. Well, I think that's the play at this point. Try and push him to make the least optimal plays with the amount of pressure that you're putting on. Try and force your opponent into a misplay. We're going to see a triple block on this Reality Smasher and a chump block on the Endless One. So, a bunch of spirits will die and the Reality Smasher will die. True Name Nemesis, still the same old fish.
That's right. What's Brett's... what is Warren's... What is his outs here? He's got to be able to deal 7 more damage somehow.
Well, he
just ripped a
a
Jit.
Jit of his own.
That
He also has 2 Lingering Souls in the graveyard.
Right, those aren't going to help much with his...
What I would do in this position is actually flashback a Lingering Souls and attack with a True Name Nemesis, and then do the same thing next turn, and as well as attacking with a Spirit in the air.
I see. He's looking to equip the Jit to somebody. Well, Warren didn't choose that line. He went Jit equip.
Yeah. So in this case, he cannot attack because
Wait, what was your line again?
flashback Lingering Souls and then attack with True Name Nemesis leaves him still alive, even if you use 2 counters from the Jit to kill both of the spirits. You still have 1 left to block, and then the
Warren's
next turn
dropping
you
to
can
1.
do the same thing again.
So we're seeing here. Maybe he's saying flashback Lingering Souls and maybe attack anyways. I think that might be the game plan. I think he saw your line, except he also decided to play Jit.
Yeah. So
he's got triples. Does he risk?
Oh, but he just
attack?
passes. Okay. So this is a safer play. It plays around Dismember and Warping Whale.
Which Brett has in his hand.
So possibly correct from Warren.
Possibly correct. I'm not sure actually. I think equipping maybe the True Name is more threatening because he can't attack then. If he attacks, they'll draw the True Name Nemesis blocks, gets 2 counters, and
so he
immediately
has
swings
to
for
block
lethal.
with everything to kill this Endless One, and even then, it doesn't do anything because he just pumps it for 2. So just going to block with the True Name Nemesis.
Exactly. This is going to be a Jit on Jit battle, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, that Warren's Jit is very behind on counters, as he probably will not be able to equip and attack the next turn. Interesting enough, Brent's Jit does not get counters because it dealt no damage to the True Name Nemesis.
Right. This attack was... was frivolous. I'm not sure. No, he doesn't get. Okay, he's eating a couple lingering souls. This is the only way Brent can stop the Jit from getting counters on it. He really does not want counters on that Jit.
Yeah. So then he puts it on the true name and says go.
This true name is causing pretty big problems.
Some serious
for Brent.
problems.
We're
We're going to see if he wants to use his warping whale here.
targeting a spirit? I don't think so. Oh, maybe clear out all the spirits?
Yeah.
Hope to draw another... I think that might be the out. Hope to draw a...
Reality Smasher.
Or any kind of creature off the top that possibly can just get him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Although, if he doesn't warping... If he... Oh, taking 2?
Yeah, he has to.
Why?
Because it is not an Eldrazi spell,
that is
unfortunately.
True. Yep, and Thorn of Amethyst is making that Warping Whale cost a little bit more. How many does he have? Warping Whale... He's got 3 Warping Whales.
Very strong card in Eldrazi from battle. Oh, he's making an Eldrazi Scion. Very interesting.
Oh. Very interesting. The Eldrazi has no attack, so I'm not sure exactly what it's trying to do.
Yeah. Well, Reality Smasher that is.
So if he would have...
Warping Whale there.
Warping Whale, there it is.
Because he's at 1, the Eldrazi Scion gets there. So either way of Warping Whale does the job in that particular case. That was a very close match.
A lot
My
closer
goodness.
than it looked, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. A lot closer than it looked at first glance.
Cool. We are going to be getting another match this round coming